Hey, welcome to Historizing the MC Culture. I'm your host, Prophet, member of Outcast Motorcycle Club, scholar, and professor emeritus of MC Culture. I want to answer a question that was posed to me, which was, why do you wear the Nazi swastika? And so let me set conditions and preface my response by vehemently rejecting the notion that I'm wearing anything Nazi. What I'm actually wearing is a glorious symbol of peoples of color, and allow me to explain in full detail. The history of the swastika is expansive, with 15,000 years to its credit, and I'll spare you the details and focus on the most important context. The word swastika comes from the ancient Indian language called Sanskrit, and the language itself is about 35, 3,600 years old. And it's found in various cultures, groups, and customs. And it has definitions like conducive to well being and good luck and good fortune. Yet, somewhere within the history of those 15,000 years, the symbol would be forever changed. In 1868, I believe, a German archaeologist named Heinrich Schliemann traveled to Ithaca, Greece, on an exhibition to discover an ancient Greek city by the name of Troy. He was following a poem called Iliad that was written by a Greek philosopher named Homer. 10 years later, he discovered and excavated the lost city of Troy. And upon his excavation of the lost city, he came across repeated usage of this symbol that we call a swastika. In 1919, the National Socialist German Workers' Party would start its rise to power. And in 1920, a young leader took over by the name of Adolph Hitler. Yet it wasn't until 1935 when Hitler decided to use the slightly canted swastika as his party's national symbol. And the reason the swastika was chosen is an interesting dichotomy to the history of the symbol itself. Two Germans named J. Arthur de Gobineau and Houston Stewart Chamberlain were both promoting this ideology of eugenics. And eugenics is the process of selective breeding for the purpose of maintaining racial purity and retaining the best qualities of a race. Hitler was very interested in eugenics as well, and he promoted this idea of a master race. And backed by the theory of eugenics and this belief in racial hygiene, Hitler sought to make a connection between himself, modern-day Germans, and the Caucasus Mountain region people and the ancient group known as the Aryans. The Aryans once stretched from India to Iran, and they spoke Indo-European languages, and at one time was credited with all the progress that benefited humanity, as well as they were purported to be superior to Semites, superior to yellows and blacks. And believers in Aryanism came to regard the Nordic Germanic peoples as the purest members of the race. The notion of white racial superiority emerged in the 1850s, and that was propagated most assiduously by Gobineau and Chamberlain, who first used the term Aryan to mean the white race. The swastika that was found at Troy now had a new meaning, and it was the conduit that Hitler needed to connect modern-day Germans to ancient Aryans. And the symbol was instantly transmogrified into a deeper ideological meaning, and no longer just an architectural find, but a pure Aryan symbol of superiority. And the discovery was seen as evidence of racial continuity and proof that the inhabitants of Troy were Aryan all along. Hitler adopted the symbol because he believed he was racially pure, a descendant of the Aryans, and the true chosen leader of the master race. And with the discovery of the swastika in Greece, the question has to be asked, how did it become a part of Greek culture? And that answer lies in the fact that the Greeks took the culture and sciences from the Kemites, who were ancient Egyptians. And so history shows us that the Greeks gained all of their knowledge from the ancient Kemites and what has become known as the mystery schools. Thales, who was the first Greek philosopher, said that he learned philosophy from the Egyptians. Homer, Plato, Aristotle, Isocrates, and Orpheus all studied at the Egyptian mystery schools. Pythagoras said that he spent 22 years in Africa studying in Kemet. The library at the ancient Egyptian School of Mystery had 400,000 scrolls in it, and it was the ancient capital of academics. Here, the Egyptians taught medicine, mathematics, geometry, art, law, philosophy, religion, architect, astronomy, literature, and politics. Everything that the Greeks would one day be revered for. And the Greek conqueror, Alexander the Great, conquered Egypt in 332 BC and drove the Persians out. And this cleansing of Egypt from Persia rule by Greek made way for Greek immigration into Kemet, and thereby distributing the knowledge to the Greeks. And what was not willfully given was taken by force as the libraries of the mystery schools were raided. Before the swastika was perverted by the Nazi Party and forever stained, it was a symbol of people of color from all over the world, from Kemet to the Navajos, the India, the Aztecs, the religion of Islam, Japan, Peru, Ethiopia, Iran, and the Hindu religion. And prior to the rise of Hitler, the symbol had been in Poland, Russia, the Celts, and to the Greeks. And it was once used by Coca-Cola, the Boy Scouts of America, the Crit Motor Company of Detroit, and the swastika was even the shoulder sleeve insignia of the 45th Infantry Division of the United States Army. History is my ally, and most view the swastika today in a diametrically opposed way to what it originally stood for. I lecture for the labor and bequest of the symbol in hopes that the nebula surrounding it will be liberated and its true meaning and glory will one day be restored. Once again, this is Prophet with Historizing the MC Culture and the history of the swastika. I appreciate you. I love you. I see you on the high ground. Peace.